Call us, email us, tweet, or Facebook us. 3 little words, two-way television.
Well, today we're talking about Canada's change in prostitution laws, and our next guest teaches at John School. That's court-mandated school for people who buy sex, and Katarina MacLeod educates those kind of customers, and she has some strong views about the Supreme Court ruling. Welcome to Context.
Thank you.
Great to have you with us. So you felt the Supreme Court ruling was just a kick in the stomach for you. Why?
Oh, for me personally, from my journey, for spending 15 years in prostitution and the struggle to get out, this is just like giving a gift to the pimps and the traffickers, and I think it's going to become like...
But you heard all the argument just now about we need to make women who've chosen this to be safer.
Well, first of all, I don't really believe that anybody chooses this. I think that all the girls that I've worked with, we all came from backgrounds of abuse as children. And when those things are instilled in you, you feel like you're worthless. Coming from broken homes and looking for that father figure, girls get sucked up into this.
Tell us your context, your story. What led you there?
So my parents, they got divorced when I was very young, and I was already being raped at the age of 5.
By who?
By a friend of my brothers, my older brothers, and that went on for 3 years. So I quickly learned that that's what I thought men wanted, and it just became part of the norm for me. So I became very promiscuous young, looking for the father figure, realizing that I could get attention through my sexuality, and eventually I got recruited into prostitution.
And how does this happen, that a young abused girl gets recruited?
Yes. Yes,
How?
I was actually in a group, a women's group for support for women who were being abused, and one of the women in there owned a massage parlor and recruited me. She offered me, you can take care of yourself, you can get out of the abusive relationship you're in, all of the above.
How old were you?
I was 21. So I wasn't, the average age is 14 to 15. I was older, but mentally I wasn't older from all of the abuse that I had already been suffering.
So you got into the massage business.
Yes.
Tell us what happened to your first marriage, your first relationship.
My first marriage, my husband was murdered, brutally murdered, by a man who was a mutual friend of ours, and he held me captive for 3 years. And there was a lot of, physical abuse and rape, and I was terrified to go to the police.
How could you not run out of that situation and go to police?
Well, first of all, my first husband was very abusive, and this is going back 20 years ago now. And when I would call the police, nothing was ever done. The laws were different around abused women then. You had to be the ones to charge your husband or whoever. And they're going to come out of jail, so you're not going to do that.
I heard about you from your daughter's prayers. Quiet Briarcrest Bible College in the middle of Saskatchewan. You had a daughter going there. She didn't want anyone to know you were in the trade, but because Shona was speaking out at Briarcrest, your daughter came and said, please, please pray for my mom.
Yes.
What was going on that your daughter would say, please, please pray for my mom?
She knew I was a prostitute, and she was Christian, and she believed that I could be redeemed, and she believed that Christ loved me and didn't want me to be there. I was her mom. She didn't want to see me doing this. And she told me about Shona while I was still in the industry, and I refused to have anything to do with it. I wasn't ready to leave. And she would, pin Bible scriptures on my door, my bedroom door, so when I would come home from work, I would see little scriptures that she would pin up about how God loved me and I was beautiful and worthy.
And how did you finally enter that beautiful, worthy world of God for you?
I had ended up in a situation when I had left prostitution. It was actually a customer who had helped me escape with his promises of he would support me and help me get on my feet. And I became his private prostitute. So he ended up leaving me, and I had nothing. I had no job, I had nothing again. So I considered going back to prostitution, and I had already been advocating and helping women leave. but I felt backed against a wall. And I had been offered through my daughter, she has a couple in the church who had offered to pay first and last month's rent for me, and I would have nothing to do with it.
I have heard, that's how, I've heard Christians doing that other places.
Yeah.
They offer first and last month rent, and it's, okay, so did you take it then?
I didn't. I actually made an appointment with an old customer, and I went to the hotel room, and I realized at that moment, if I did proceed with going through with that, I would never come back. And I took it. I took the money, and in taking that money,
the church couple's money. You took the church couple's money.
Church couple's money, and in doing that, I felt obligated to attend church. And I was
Heard that before too.
So I started attending church, and they were offering an Alpha course, which I ended up going on, and still.
That's like Christianity 101. Alpha,
Yes,
on our
Alpha.
website, is Christianity 101. It gives you the basic understanding of how you follow the spiritual truth God has for your life.
Exactly. So in the 9th lesson, I left Alpha very broken and drove around until about 12:30 a.m. and I just broke. And I said, okay, God, I have tried to fill my voids through drugs, sex, material things. I'm willing to give you a chance. And at that moment, I honestly tell you, Lorna, is that peace that I have searched for, that emptiness that I have looked to fill, was filled.
Oh, thank you so much. That is the kind of Canadians we're going to have to be to see prostitution change
Yes.
in Canada.
Yes.
And your new husband is there.
Yes, he is.
Yeah, all right. Wow, is that beautiful? Yeah. What a happy ending. Katarina, we are grateful that you shared your story with us. Thank you. And that was Katarina MacLeod, former sex worker, now working to assist women in leaving prostitution. And in a moment, why we church people just can't leave the issue of prostitution alone. My view on that next. The Bible contains more examples than you might think of practitioners, male and female, of what Rudyard Kipling called the oldest profession. The book of Joshua even celebrates the prostitute Rahab, who hid Israelite spies in the walled city of Jericho. Thousands of years ago, in the Greek city of Corinth, sex was often emotionless, ritualistic, and commodified. In a letter to those people, a tent maker named Paul suggested a different view, that they not be controlled by the base urges of the body. He taught them of a God who wants us to regard the body as a temple and physical intimacy as a gift, not a transaction. For without heart and soul, that gift loses its meaning. And that's why you will always find followers of Jesus staying engaged on the debate over prostitution. So we've left the resources referred to from all of these views and agencies that we engaged on today's broadcast. They're there on our website. You can get involved. You can speak to government about what you hope will happen on Canada's prostitution future. Learn more. Let's get engaged. Let's help people flourish in God's best call on their lives. For all of us, I'm Lorna Duick. Thanks for watching, and join us next week as we explore life beyond the headlines.